just a couple seconds, and we're going to be in. All right, let me, because now it's 40 seconds. Oh, all right. Okay, so before we go live on the radio tonight, I have my special guest here. I have Michael Raymer, and I have Scott Evan Davis. 30 seconds. Now we're on 30 seconds. So you guys are always privy to us before we go live on the radio. So if you want to, it's Armed Radio, which is on TuneIn app. Your TuneIn app, you download that, and you can do that and then listen to us live. You can listen to us on Spreaker, which is the podcast, Spreaker, about 12 to 24 hours afterwards. And we're coming in. Okay.
Spreaker.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What's the Story with Maria. My name is Maria Gentili, and I'm Maria of What's the Story with Maria. Anyway, so the first thing we want to do, we have a new sponsor, and this show is being brought to you by our new sponsor, Tremont Auto Sales, which is, yes, thank you, Tremont Auto Sales. I've actually seen a trailer for them. They got some really nice stuff out there. So that's 97 Tremont Street in Peabody, Mass. Peabody is my old stomping ground because I grew up, Peabody, not Peabody. Peabody. So I grew up in Massachusetts, and that's what, those are our peeps tonight. They are taking care of us, and this show is being brought to you by Tremont Auto Sales in Peabody, Mass. So thank you once again. Okay. Yeah, it's cool, right? That's where I grew up. All right, so tonight I have my special guest are Scott Evan Davis and Michael Raymer, and they are in show business, like I'm in show business, but they're in completely different fields, which I also always think is great. So tonight, so Michael is originally from Florida, and he lives in New York now, and he works in television, and he's an amazing photographer. So we're going to, well, I think so. I'm pretty impressed. And, you know, I'm not easily impressed. Yeah. Sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting next to that guy. You
I know
that, right?
Thrilled.
So, and sitting next to me is Scott Evan Davis, who is
not a photographer.
Not a photographer, and it doesn't claim to be.
No.
So, Michael, you're safe.
All right.
You're safe
cool.
right now. Because as I said in the promo, he is blowing up. So, Scott, how long ago did we meet? About maybe like 8 or 9 years ago?
Yeah, I think, no, it was longer. It was 2006.
Okay. And you were just starting to write, or you had been writing for a while?
I had just had melodies in my head. I think I hadn't written any lyrics or anything. I just had just fooling around with some songs.
All right.
You may not know
see,
this,
your fooling around is not like, I don't consider that fooling around.
Well,
You write
it's grown
beautiful,
since then, but yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, when I met you back then, the stuff that you were writing I thought was beautiful. And now you've really gone to like a whole different level.
Thanks.
Absolutely. But you were telling me something when my guests arrive, they usually get here about 8:20, and then we just like kind of hang out. And Rizzo, my dog, always wants a little love.
Such a cute dog.
Yeah, she's very cute. But so you told me, which I didn't know, that before you were a songwriter, a composer, you were an actor, which I didn't know. So
my whole life.
So you grew up in Freehold, New Jersey, you told me.
Yes.
And so you wanted to be an actor. Your dream as a kid was, I'm going to be a what?
Broadway star.
Okay, a Broadway star. So stage, not film.
No.
Stage.
No.
And did you do that? Were you that kid in high school?
I went to a performing arts high school. I went to Emerson College.
I love Emerson.
I lived in Boston for a long time.
That was my school that I loved.
Yeah.
I didn't go there. I just hung out and partied.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't become a Broadway actor. No, and then I moved to AMDA, and I went to a conservatory here in New York to be a Broadway actor person. Yeah, and I met a teacher at AMDA who kind of became a mentor of mine, and one thing led to another, and I didn't have a place to live, and I couldn't make enough money to survive, and I kept falling asleep in class. And he took me to lunch, and I moved in with him. And he told me that he had a year to live. But nobody knew, so it was a big secret.
I didn't know this story.
And I ended up living with him for the last year of his life, and he was kind of training me to be an actor and dissecting scripts and scores and stuff.
Wow.
And about 10 months into it, I got so unhappy that I moved back to Boston.
Really?
And I basically said, bye, don't want to do this anymore. And then before
you didn't want to do the acting, you didn't want to.
I didn't want to live there.
It was
I didn't want to
heavy.
feel isolated anymore. And I was in a relationship up in Boston, so I moved back to Boston, gave up theater. I became a mutual fund investment specialist, and I just gave everything up. And then one thing led to another. I wrote him a letter to apologize for leaving the way I did, and he had already died, so I was never able to say I'm sorry. And then years later, right before I met you, I had a dream about him, and in the dream he kind of forgave me, and the entire time he was hugging me, he was humming a melody. And the next day I woke up and I kind of had to plunk out that melody, and that became my first song.
Oh my God, this is crazy. Since. What a crazy...
Yeah. Wow. That's how I started writing.
I have goosebumps. So
it's true.
I didn't know any of that stuff about you. See, this is why I love to interview people on the show, because these are my friends that I know lots about, but I don't know all this behind the scenes. And so you guys are learning it as I'm learning it. So that's an incredibly intense story, and beautiful and sad at the same time. Okay, and then so you plunked that out.
I plunked it out, and it was just music at first.
Okay.
I had no interest in writing words. I thought I was horrible at it. And if you remember the song that we wrote together, you wrote the lyrics too. And
our friend Melissa Driscoll was doing a show, a cabaret show, and you were musically directing it.
I was.
And she said, "Oh, I'd love to do one of your songs, because I'm a songwriter." And
a great one.
Thank you, as are you. And we thought, she said, "Well, you guys should write a song together." And we were like, kind of like we loved each other right away. Like, I like you, and you were like, let's do it. And I think that's how we did it. I think you either gave me a melody, and I wrote lyrics to it, or
I actually met you at a club.
Yes.
And I played a little bit of the piano, and you started singing.
Oh, that's how we did it.
Yeah.
Wow, that was.
And then by that night,
we had it written. That was really cool. Yeah, that is also always such a great thing. Not everybody does that. Not every songwriter, composer, lyricist, whatever. They don't always gel like that. But I feel like sometimes if you're open and the other person is open, amazing things can happen. And that song was called
Work in Progress.
Work in Progress. Yeah, it was really cool. So we talked earlier, we're going to revisit that at some point.
Yes.
So now, Michael, you are from Florida, right?
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach. So you are not in that business. So tell us a little bit about the business you're in.
Well, I've basically been in television and video production most of my adult life.
So the behind the scenes guy.
Right. Yeah.
Were you ever on camera? Were you ever an actor, or did you ever want to do anything like that?
No, actually, in college I was a radio DJ. And,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And no, I've never ever been in front of the camera. I don't.
Now you are.
Think
now
at all,
you are. You're like a big star. You're going to be a big star, Mike. You know that, right?
No.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep low key.
Okay. So he's incognito tonight, so don't fall in love with him. He's engaged anyway. It's Susie. She'll kill you.
So I started in television news, and it was live every day. 6 o'clock deadline comes every day. It's very high pressure, high stress.
So were you the camera?
I was a camera operator. Well, at the small station I started, I was the camera operator. I was the editor. I was the live truck operator. I was sometimes film producer, sometimes script writer. Because they would send you out on one-man band stories or, breaking news or whatever.
So I didn't realize that person also does. I didn't know that. I thought it was the reporter that does all that, but it's...
No.
Oh, okay.
Really, the reporter writes the story and does a lot of the background work, in local news. They do a lot of the research and background work, but the photographer usually edits everything, does the live shots. And does a lot of field producing too, because if you're in the field, you have to, think on your feet. And you have to sometimes interview people when the reporter's not with you or whatever. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it also taught me a wide variety of skills for later on.
Now, this was all in Florida?
In West Palm. I started in Tennessee, because I went to school in Nashville, and then I started in a very small station in Tennessee, and then moved to West Palm Beach and was there for 4 years doing news, just strictly news. And then I wanted to get out of it because it's, it's kind of...
It's intense, right? Man. Yeah. That's a lot.
We're doing it now.
Right.
I know.
So I got into sports because I've always been a sports fan.
Yeah,
I love
me too.
Sports. And so I just, gravitated towards sports and became the producer and the photographer and editor for the sports department, because back then local news had sports, a whole department. You covered local sports and stuff. So it was South Florida, so I got to do that.
And you said that you worked for ESPN, right?
Right. Well,
that's
then
one of my favorite.
I moved my way up. I worked for NBC News Channel for a little while, and then ESPN, and did it was all live television. Almost everything that I did at that point was live. So. Okay.
And when did you get into the photography? Because may I just stop for a second and tell you that Michael Raymer, I call him Mike, but Michael Raymer's photography is it's outstanding. So you have to go. I want you guys to. I've tagged him on this page, so you can now go and look at Michael's photography after the show.
Thank you.
You won't believe how great it is. And I mean, it wasn't the kind of thing where, oh, okay, he's marrying one of my best friends. I'll just go and check out his pictures. Oh, yeah, he's good. No, it's really good stuff. So after this broadcast, please go and check out Michael Raymer's photography. And how would they be? You have an Instagram?
Instagram, Raymer Photo 13.
Raymer at
RAMERPHOTO 13 is the Instagram, and Lighthouse Multimedia also, which is kind of a company that I've been floating around for a couple of years.
Okay, all right. So that's.
But Raymer Photo 13 is Instagram.
And can people buy your? If someone really can they buy your stuff?
Absolutely. They just message me on one of those social media formats.
Will you sign it? No, I'm serious. It's a big deal. If I get something from someone, I want it signed.
All right. Well, sure. I'll sign it.
All right. See, he said it there. Listen, I don't fool around. If I buy a piece of artwork, you better sign it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You got to sign it. All right. So now.
I love this woman, by the way. No, seriously. So, okay. I got to tell the story. The first time. No.
Is it a bad story? You wouldn't tell me before the show was up. I'm going to tell you about the first time we met. Now, it's nothing like that. All right, go ahead, Michael.
So what happened was, little backstory. My son went to Jensen Beach High School in Jensen Beach, Florida, and they're the Falcons. So throughout his high school career, I had Falcons jerseys and hats and all this stuff. So the very first day I ever meet Maria, we come to a Super Bowl party.
Right, at my house, which I have for you. Yeah.
And she's a huge Patriots fan, and they're playing the Falcons.
I grew up in Boston. That's right.
And I have a Falcons hat on. Well, I don't know how huge of a fan she is until, of course, the first quarter when they're like getting beat. The Patriots are getting beat like 26-0 or something crazy, right? And she's going, oh, my God. And the whole time I forget I'm wearing this Falcons hat. She must have been like, but not only was she polite and kind, but she made me feel like family.
Oh,
like
thanks,
you
Michael.
really made me feel. You'd never met me before. You've known Susan for
27
years, and made me feel like family immediately.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were going to say that I was really mean to you.
No, but you didn't let anybody know at the end how great the Patriots were. You were. I thought you were going to go like off or whatever, and you were just like, yeah. With such class.
Oh,
just so I'm on the same page.
Because people were giving her crap.
We're talking about football.
People were giving her crap, though, because they were getting beat.
Well, we were getting our asses handed to us. And I'm in New York. You know, it's hard to be a Boston fan in New York. It's not easy. Trust me. I've taken a beating in more ways than one. And so I just thought it was over. But then it wasn't until the last quarter. You know what happened there. It was incredible. Although there were a lot of Boston fans in New York that like Boston teams. So thank you, Michael. That's a nice story.
And you've been very supportive of me since I've been here. I mean, I've been in New York City now since February 1st.
May I also tell you that Michael did my kitchen floor. He tiled my kitchen floor. And,
I have a man of many talents.
Yes, he does that too, but now he's very, very busy. So, okay, we're going to come back to you. Thank you, Michael. That was a nice story. I feel happy. That makes
you feel relieved.
I feel thank you. I have a temper. Anybody that knows me knows that I have a temper. And I thought, oh, did I yell at him about something? And I don't remember. Am I in like a rage blackout? Anything could have happened. So, okay. Well, not to you. Okay, so Scott, let's get back to you. And let's go backwards. So tell us about, because you're working on something really big right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the guy that was going to be an actor, had no aspirations of being a songwriter or composer or anything. This experience happened to him. That was then.
This is now.
Fast forward. Where are you now?
So after that whole thing happened, I just started writing, and I put a concert of my music together, and from there I did my first album.
Which is great. I have it. It's beautiful.
It's called Cautiously Optimistic.
Yes,
and
I
then I just released a second album yesterday, which is really cool because my first album was just piano and cello because, that's how much money I had to do a first album.
People don't realize how much money it costs to make an album.
I know. I crowdfunded, I think, $20,000 to do my second album, and it has a 16-piece orchestra. We used the Indiana Philharmonic. David Snyder arranged it. It was great. And so from there, I just started putting out songs and cabaret songs and writing shows.
And a lot of people sang your stuff, like a lot of cabaret artists.
Yeah, like on my first album, I had Liz Calloway and Faith Prince. And
well, that's really huge. I mean, I don't know too many songwriters that could just
I was really lucky.
So it must be good stuff. Well, lucky is one thing. There's luck in this business, but you got to be good. You can't just be lucky. People will not put their names on something that is not good. They just won't do it.
It's true.
I noticed that with songwriters, especially like young songwriters, unless you're established, no one's going near your stuff unless you're good.
Right.
I mean, right?
Absolutely. And actually the song also has to be right. So even if they like the song, if it's not right for them, they won't do it, I got to write Karen Mason a song for...
I love Karen Mason. I love Karen Mason.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so great.
For the whole time I've been... there's a song that I wrote, it won the ASCAP award
Yes,
this past
thank you.
year.
Please tell us about that.
I had a really wonderful chance to write a musical with autistic kids a couple years back. And the song's called If the World Only Knew. And it's been one of those things, because some of my songs, like about 4 or 5 songs are sold as show choir songs throughout the country, and kids do a lot of them. And this one song just kind of took off, and it's been really, really great. And it kind of inspired me to start writing a musical called Indigo. About
INDIGO.
Oh.
So remember that. This is really important because this is about to happen.
Yeah, and I got to, I've been working on it for a long time and kind of, figuring out what I can do with it, how I can take it to whatever next level. And, just about 2 months ago, so it's about an autistic girl who can't speak. She's nonverbal. And the long and short of it is she's the girl who can't communicate, but she teaches everybody else around her how to. So because she can't speak, she sings, and it's in her head, and the audience can hear it. So
wow.
And she kind of processes things that way. But I guess I can say this now. This is the first time I actually get to say this on your show.
Debuting on What's the Story with Maria.
Yeah, press release will come out soon. But I finally hooked up with their Broadway producers. So the people that created and produced Allegiance, which was just on Broadway, they're from Sing Out Louise Productions.
Okay.
And they're producing, they're developing Indigo, let's just put it that way. So October 18th, we have our first table read, and...
Okay, we have to just interrupt?
Yeah.
So our producer is telling us to speak up a little bit?
Got it.
Okay, here we go. Good. We don't want to...
So on October 18th, I'm just kidding. We have our first table read, and I'm happy to say that Sydney Lucas, who won the Tony for Fun Home, do you remember that little girl?
Of course!
Who sang Ring of Keys?
She's
playing my Emma. So
is she really?
Yeah.
Sydney Lucas.
Yeah, she's
from
wonderful.
Fun Home.
Yeah, she's reading for Emma on October 18th. So it's just lots of
my God, this is huge
stuff going on.
Okay, so let's take a second because I want to shout out. I love that you see people join us and watch us every week, and different people watch us. So I want to say hi to Darcy Blakesley, who's in LA. She's so funny. Joshua Stephen Cardis, our friend, amazing piano player, also composer.
Oh, you played my songs.
Yes.
Nice.
Scott, is nice to see you. Okay, yes. And Billy Hipkins joined us. He was here. Ron Ruffin. I love Ron Ruffin. Hey, Ron Ruffin, do you want to come do a show? Ron Ruffin is my friend. He does so many things. But he's like a Motown. No, it's true. He's a Motown guy. So he's doing a big Motown thing now. So thank you. Ron Ruffin is here. Lauren Reinhardt is here. Hi, Lauren. So many great people. Becca. Hi, Becca. So please join us and keep
What about Carrie
commenting.
Elizabeth? Did you mention her?
Where's Carrie?
Carrie, right there.
Is that your friend?
No, I don't know.
Oh, I just saw her. So Carrie Elizabeth. Sometimes people are
what
other
do you
people's
mean?
friends. Anthony Belbiro is joined us. That's a friend of Susie's too. My cousin Rena's here. You see, she said you heard it first here. She loves the inside scoop. It's true.
There you go.
Okay, so Indigo
Yes.
is going to be happening. There's a table read coming up.
Yes.
Tell me that little girl's name again.
Sydney Lucas.
Sydney Lucas.
Yeah.
Ring of Keys. You want to just YouTube Ring of Keys.
She's
Fun
phenomenal.
Home. You will cry your eyes out. She's so great.
Oh, and
Tell
I just also, this just happened today, but I'm doing a concert I'm going back to London on January 24th at the Crazy Cocks live at Citadel. I'm doing a concert there.
Okay, I don't know anything about this. This is great. Yeah. All right, now Michael, when he first told me that this little girl, that she communicated in a different way, I thought about photography for a second, because there are a lot of people like me, people like Susie. Susie's in our studio audience. We're big personalities, yes. And we communicate with our words and our actions and our personalities. But that is one way to communicate. You are more of a quiet person. You're not like a big ham,
No.
not like that. But you're communicating.
I downplay.
Right, through your music and your words and things like that. Photography is a whole other way to find that to be a way to communicate?
Right.
So tell me about that. Because I don't see you as like
really
a loud
point.
guy, right?
Yeah.
To me, that's a creative way to communicate.
You know, here's what I do. I try to document what I see and what's in front of me through my photography. That's really what I do. I don't necessarily, I've rarely ever had a still photography assignment where somebody has sent me to go shoot something.
That's interesting.
I just shoot what I see. Like walking around the city. I mean, I love this city because I can literally every corner there's another photograph.
Yeah, I agree.
I like to tell stories too.
Well, I was going to say, you said you document what you see. However, and I agree with you, I'm sure that that's what you're doing. But what I see as a person looking at your art is that you take something. Well, this is how I feel when I see your art. So I don't know what your intention is, but this is what I see.
Check it out.
Oh, it's beautiful. So I see something. You capture this thing, but then what happens around it for me, the feeling that I get when I look at one of your photographs is like, it like
Maria.
pops it up. I'm serious.
I know.
I mean, I'm not trying to sleep with you, Michael. You already have a girlfriend.
I know.
You know that. As
No,
do
I know.
So
Yeah,
we're all set on the girls.
No, we're good.
But for me, when I look at your photography, it's like this thing happens to my heart, or it's like, and my eyes. You give it more dimension than just the frame. So I always feel like I'm pulled in, and I want to be where you are. Like, what's happening there? Like, I've seen the Brooklyn Bridge 1,000 times, but when you photograph it, I'm like, where is he? What's he doing? What's happening? I want to go there.
Wow.
So that's how I feel in your photography. Or you photographed downtown, like the World Trade Center, the One World Trade. Yeah, and it just pulls you in. Like, I feel like I'm on a boat riding towards your photography when I see it. It's very beautiful stuff.
Thank you very, very much.
So I feel that maybe you're not meaning to communicate, you're just documenting, but you are communicating something that I wouldn't be privy to that image. You know, just checking my Facebook, I am all of a sudden in your world. And that to me transported me out of sitting at a desk or whatever, being on the subway. All of a sudden I'm in your world.
That's communicating.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I can tell you, too, that a lot has to do with where you are. Like, I lived in West Palm Beach, Florida. So,
okay, and that's a completely different.
Or Jensen Beach, Florida. I mean, it's gorgeous there. You know, there's places to photograph and capture emotion or, whatever it is. I'd like to do a lot of outdoor photography, obviously.
Yeah, I see that. I love it.
But then I come to the city, and it's a completely different vibe. Completely different feel, but I'm just shooting really, I promise you when I tell you.
I believe you.
Whatever I see that I think is interesting. And I guess, and it just occurred to me that if you find it interesting too, that is a great satisfaction for me.
Yeah, well,
amazingly.
And
I got goosebumps when you were speaking just now. I really, really appreciate it. I'm very grateful. But I can tell you that maybe it's because I just shoot what I like.
Yeah.
I shoot what I see, what I like, and I want to see in a picture.
But let me ask you something. You don't just say, oh, I'm going to get on a boat, or I'm going to walk down, or I'm going to get on my bike and just let me make this picture look pretty. You are obviously moved by that image in some way.
Right.
Or you find it interesting,
yes,
right?
I do. Yes, absolutely.
And because you capture it and share it with us, so it's not just, you're not going on assignment.
Right.
You find it moves you.
I just carry a
share
camera
it. So that is communicating.
Right. Right.
That's how I feel. And
I appreciate it. And
no, it's true. So check out Michael Raymer. So tell us again how we find your photography.
So Facebook is Michael Raymer.
Okay.
MichaelRamer.
Okay.
And then Raymer Photo, RamerPhoto 13. That's Instagram. And I'm procrastinating a website for a long time.
Well, now you might have to do it because you're gonna get hits.
No, I was gonna say I might have to start doing that. But just message me now.
Just message him and you can get the stuff. And
I'm
Michael,
gonna message you right now.
Yeah, do it. And Michael promised you that he will sign it. Okay,
Well, wait,
now you have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Maria help me.
I'll sign it too.
Yeah.
How's that?
I'll sign it too.
Yeah, let's all three of us.
That's all sign it.
Now that's
We'll have a
gonna be
signing party.
Yeah.
That's gonna be big.
That'd be fun.
All right, so Scott, so you talked about, we were talking about our jobs, like Michael says now because he works on a television show, and the show is Instinct, right, with Alan
It's
Cumming?
a new CBS series. Yes.
Wonder how cool is that?
How
So
cool is that?
you get up at what, 4 a.m?
I do, and I go to Brooklyn, which I love, by the way. I got to tell you, I love Brooklyn. It's
Brooklyn's
great.
cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good food, a lot of really good people.
So you go there and you get up early, and when does your day end?
Usually around 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that.
So that's a
they're
long day.
Yeah, they're long days.
But they start early and they end early. And Scott, we were talking about now the way you work is very different than the way you used to work.
Yeah,
okay, so tell us about your day. You get up and how's your
now,
day?
Currently my
Like-
day. So I teach
Living
for
the
a
dream for
great
me.
company called Brooklyn Children's Theater. I write musicals and I get to teach for them. And I do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of second half of the day. So basically I wake up, I drink some coffee, I write until 2 or 3.
You write new stuff? Or
Indigo. Right now
Okay,
I'm
you're
focused on writing
okay.
the musical Indigo. And
do you give yourself an assignment like, okay, today I'm going to work on the reflective song in Act 2?
Yes, I do
Okay,
that.
good.
I don't necessarily do that, but I give myself that assignment.
Yes, okay,
I
great.
absolutely do. I just kind of have to, but I also run social media for Brooklyn Children's Theater from home, which is really...
I've seen a lot
great.
of that. I've seen a lot of the stuff you post, which is really very impressive and beautiful.
I went from a life of working like so many side jobs. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I was working at Bliss Spa down in Soho for about 8-9 years.
See? You see that? You kids, listen up. This is, you spoil
Gotta hustle,
little brats.
man. Yeah.
You don't just come to New York and
You know
become
when
a
your
big
audience.
star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my audience. I'm yelling at them right now.
No, it takes a lot of time and work. And I actually was just saying to you, I think this business, no matter what business you're in, is about 40% talent and 40% persistence. And then the other percentage is, not knowing math, because I don't think that's 100%.
No,
but
I think
40
that's 80.
and 40 is 80. And then
Right.
20%,
There's
luck.
some luck in there.
I don't know, something.
And then it's who you know.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you what there's a percentage of. Be nice to people.
Oh my gosh.
Don't walk around thinking
That's so
you're
true.
all that, because it come back to bite you in the
I
what.
have to say, that's really true.
It is true.
Whenever I travel, or I've been really grateful. I did concerts in Australia and Ireland, and every time
You've been around.
I have, but every time I go places, sometimes New York is a small town. Lots of people talk, and there are people who you can travel and somebody overseas or something will say, "Oh, I know. Do you know this person? Because I know this person."
Absolutely.
And then they'll have a negative experience, and it just you have to be nice.
Yep.
You have to, the people that you work with and the people that you in this business,
And
you have to be nice.
always remember, look, sometimes somebody's just having a really bad day. Don't take things so personally. Like I hear people say, "Oh, I was at this audition. So and so was so bitchy to me." Well, maybe
They woke
they're
up at 4 a.m.
maybe they were just in a bad mood. Maybe it's not you they're being bitchy to. Maybe they're just in a bad mood. So what I try to do, I really do try to not take things personally. It's hard not to, but just, I know me, like people, people that are close to me in my life always have to tell me, you weren't so nice to that person. I'll think, I wasn't? Because sometimes I'm just in my head. And so just cut people slack. Remember that not to take things personally. Remember that everybody is carrying something around.
And remember that everybody that you meet, no matter who they are, you have to approach it as at some point they could hire you. Or at some point
Absolutely.
they're going to work with you. You have to have that mentality.
Or vice versa. You may want them to work for you or whatever.
Exactly.
So we're always going to be in different positions. Just be nice to people. Keep an open mind. Don't be you know what. It never works. I hate that when people are just throwing that bitchy stuff around. It doesn't work. It's
True.
old. We're over it. Get over the bitchy. Okay, let's say hi to some more people. Okay, so Ron Ruffin is busted. He says, I'm busted. No, Ron, you got to come on. Okay, so listen, just keep checking in with us and just keep watching our show. We really appreciate it. We're going to keep sharing it. You want to share the show as well. People do a lot of that after the show is done. Okay, so Michael, I want to get back to you for a second. So the hurricane that happened down in Florida,
Right.
there was any of your friends are okay?
Yeah, all of my friends are okay. I think everybody, for the most part, has power back now. My son lives there. He lives in Stewart, which is just north of Palm Beach there. And I mean, they had a hurricane go through.
Yeah.
Floridians are pretty.
Now I saw that
sturdy.
video of your son. That was really cool. Tell us about that video of your son.
So my son, who
How old is your
is
son?
a lot like his father. He's 21 years old. His name is Jordan Raymer. Jordan sent me a video, I guess during the storm or just as it was passing them, of him skateboarding. And I think I posted it on my Facebook page. But he's skateboarding with a big black plastic bag, using it as a like a sail.
Like I say, it was amazing.
And
he was on a
cruising,
board.
yeah, on a skateboard.
And he was going really fast.
Yeah, he was cruising.
And you wrote, that's how Florida boys
Ride out the storm.
ride out the storm.
Yes, it's...
So
don't try that at home.
No, don't do it. And don't do it in the city, for the love of God. These riders, and you guys are bike riders. You and Susie are bike riders,
Yeah, we
right?
ride all over the city.
Susie, get in here for a second. Just
Actually,
pop your
we
head
have
in.
to say hi to Susie.
We got to say hi to Susie.
My beautiful, talented, loving, gorgeous fiance.
Susie Camp is here tonight in the
Camp is
studio
here.
audience.
I know, I
So
love
Michael
this so
and
much.
Susie are getting married. When's your date?
February 17th, we're getting married.
In Florida,
so
right?
great,
In
Yeah.
Stuart,
Yeah.
Florida, yes.
Yeah.
And Michael Plotsky is making my wedding.
What? The Michael Plotsky, who's also
Yeah.
coming on the show. As
Yeah.
soon as Chocolatina comes back to town, Michael and Chocolate are coming on the show.
I love chocolate.
Chocolatina, who doesn't love Chocolatina Q dessert? So they're getting married in West Palm Beach, right?
Stuart.
No, Stuart.
Stewart.
Yeah.
On the beach.
And you're all invited.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
everybody,
not?
come on.
Yeah. Why not?
It's going to be a party.
We're being catered by Sandy Jane.
That's
Wow,
right.
all right.
Yeah,
Who we went to
very-
high school
We
with.
went to high school. We went to high school together.
Yeah.
Now,
Susan and I have known each other since we were 14 years old. And here's a crazy story. You want to hear a crazy story?
Yeah.
So 2 nights ago, we were going through some boxes of books that I have. And she finds out my yearbook from high school, my senior year. So she starts flipping through it. She goes, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I signed it? Boom, the first page she opens up to. She signed my yearbook.
I posted it on Instagram when I wrote.
She
Really?
signed, yes.
That's so cute.
Yes, and she was, madly in love with me then.
Of course.
But, I had to grow up a little.
We were just friends. We used to smoke a lot of weed together.
Yeah,
so
we were.
you know,
Yeah,
it's
we
kinda
never
That's
dated or
what- it's a
anything,
bonding.
and then didn't talk to each other for 25 years at all. We didn't speak with each other. I mean,
And where did you
nothing.
see each other again? Where did you reunite?
on Facebook.
Yeah, on
Facebook.
That's right. On
we
Facebook.
love Facebook.
About
Shout
3
out.
or 4 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went to a surfer reunion party,
Yes.
and he didn't want to go.
Massachusetts, there's no surfer reunion. parties.
Yeah,
We
well,
don't-
I really wasn't a
we go to
surfer. I was
clam
just in a
bakes.
bikini.
Plant-based.
Yeah. we have the clam
Bars.
Yeah.
Plant-based
So-
bars.
in bars. Yeah,
Yeah.
we shoot some pool. But you guys had a surfer reunion party.
Yeah, and
That's very
so,
FLA.
Yeah.
And so my friend Trisha said, Mikey Raymer, I invited him. I go, well, call up Mikey Raymer. We call him Mikey.
Yeah.
So she said, Susie's here. And he goes, I'm coming down.
That's
Yeah.
it.
The minute we saw each other, we became fast friends. And then,
Michael, you made the right choice that night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, see, I wasn't going to go to this party because it was It was in a bar. The people were like high school, glory days. I really kind of wasn't into this particular event.
Yeah.
But Trisha called me and said, "Oh yeah, Susie Campanero's down here. She wants to say hi." I was like, 10 minutes later, I was there.
Wow.
And we were fast friends. And then we went to the beach the whole day the next day, and I taught him how to do yoga. And he fell in love with me.
Yeah, of
There you
course.
go.
Thank you, Susan.
Bravo.
Right.
Nice
Thank you,
to
Susan
meet
Campanero.
Yeah.
Susan
Susie Campanero.
Oh, hey.
Cheers. It's a good story.
All right, that's a great story. Okay, so Scott, now let me see. So you have this project that you're working on now.
Yeah.
And your day-to-day stuff is you get up, you write, you go to the school.
Couple
And
3 days a week I teach. Yeah.
and what is something that you do to unwind, or is that unwinding?
I'll let you
enough?
know when I do it.
So
I don't
you're
know.
just a guy that goes at it every day.
No, I actually do unwind. I like reality TV.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny. If I don't do anything, if I'm not working at all, I wake up, I drink coffee, I turn on MSNBC, and I will watch it all day. I
Okay,
can't
well,
say
I'll
that's
do that too.
unwinding.
Yeah, I
That's
do
usually just getting my blood
I
pressure
know.
up.
Do you know that the days of my show,
That's what I
will
do.
not watch the news
Really?
because I can't do it. I get so crazy
It's hard.
that I can't watch it.
You have to- Yeah.
I just want to keep my head clear and I want to have a good experience. Although
Yeah.
now, starting in October, speaking of autistic children, I teach at the Mayo Performing Arts Center, which starts up again in October, the first weekend of October. But I'm also going to be teaching with my amazing boss, Kathy Roy Spees, on the Miracle Project, which is a musical program
I
for
know
us.
about the Miracle Project.
Yes,
heard
it
about
started
that.
in LA, so I'm going to be working with her on that.
That's amazing.
And that our students are autistic, all different levels. So that's going to be an amazing experience.
Have you ever worked with autistic kids
No.
before? Are you scared?
I have.
No, I'm not actually. Because I've worked in Sunset Park, Brooklyn in the 90s, and it was drug infested, and they were gang infested. So I have worked with gang members, and I've worked with children that sit and listen to everything you say, and then I've worked with kids that don't want to be there, and I'm open to the experience. I'm always open to experience. I'm starting in October. You and I should have lunch, right?
Well, also one of the I told you about the autistic kids that I got to write this musical for a couple years ago. They got funding to do this documentary. So I'm in this documentary called Spectrum of Hope. You can actually go. MTI produced it.
Tell us about that.
So
Okay.
it was produced by
Let's raise our voices too.
it was produced by MTI and the Musical Theater International.
Yes, of course.
And you can go on their website or you can just Google it, but it's called Spectrum of Hope. And basically, there's a big festival in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's called the Junior Theater Festival. And it's one of the biggest, teen musical theater adjudicated festivals. And they had never had a school come, because schools, 5,000 kids basically
Wow,
come
that's
to
crazy.
Atlanta, right, from all these different schools. And they had never had a school that was just primarily for students with autism. And so the school I was working with, it was basically like the FAME school for autism. It was
Wow.
teaching. They did all their courses based on a curriculum of theater, and it's really great. It's P94 on the Lower East Side. So they wanted to do a documentary of us taking like 10 of these kids and rehearsing them, and because they were accepted to the festival. So we flew them to Atlanta, and they got to be adjudicated, and they had to kind of, be around everybody else. And
So
it was a
cool.
really beautiful experience. So
Yeah.
it's a
and
documentary I highly, highly recommend.
Spectrum
And not
of
just because
Hope?
I'm in it. Yeah.
Spectrum of Hope. Okay.
Spectrum of Hope.
So we're going to look that up too.
Yeah.
Now, we always have a food section of the show. So the other day,
That's why I'm here.
when I make thank you. Well, that's how I have to draw the guests in, I lure them in with the food. So I made a promo yesterday, and I didn't know what I was going to cook. And Joe Rocks, of course, said make eggplant parmesan. But no, Joe, I did not make eggplant
I was
parmesan.
excited about the eggplant.
I know, but that's a lot of work. I mean, forget about it. That's going to take me a while. So,
Maria, don't worry, honey. I don't like eggplant.
oh, thank
So
God,
it worked
Michael.
out
You made me
perfect.
feel better.
Yeah, it
So,
worked
Joe,
out
maybe if you come to New York, I will have to make you eggplant parmesan. But these boys were happy. They were just like, just make anything. I also have to check if people are vegans, vegetarian, blah, 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 blah.
No
blah.
mango.
He said no mango.
That's
So,
crazy.
actually, I know
That's
a guy
all
that
I'm
I call
allergic to.
Mango, and Mango is now in South Africa. No, he's in Belgium now. But Mango, he doesn't mean you. So, that's my friend Mango.
Oh,
But,
Yeah, no.
That's funny.
I know.
It's very
So
funny.
now, Susie, will you help for a second and just grab?
We're gonna eat right now.
No, we're not going to eat right now. We're going to eat after the show because
Okay.
I learned on a podcast that you should never chew during a broadcast.
Well,
It's a
yeah.
good plan.
I mean, although I'd like to eat, I'm kind of that person that wants to eat all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our dessert. So
Nice.
here's what I made tonight, but this is just a model. We have a whole thing. This is rotini carbonara, which is with bacon. It's bacon, and I got some peppers in there, onions, and peas. Oh, those are pastries. Oh my God, I love that you love
You're
those.
just
Are my
digging right in,
pastries.
aren't you?
So,
Good for
and then you beat some eggs and some heavy cream, some butter, and then when you throw some oil in a pan and you just throw all that stuff in, and then you throw the pasta on it. So this is going to be delicious with our bacon in there.
I'm
Who
excited.
doesn't love bacon? Well, I suppose vegans would not like bacon, but I will eat your bacon. Don't worry about that bacon, vegans. I got it. So,
I'll
anyway,
eat your bacon.
We're having that.
That's a
Nice.
quote. Hashtag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eat
Hashtag
your
I'll
bacon.
eat your bacon.
Put it aside. I'll eat it.
Look at this dog.
And oh yeah, Rizzo's like, what's happening there? And then we
Oh,
have
wait,
delicious
yeah,
salad.
yeah,
And these are thank you. This is guava pastry, guava cream cheese pastry. Then we have turnovers with apple and pineapple. So those are from the
It's a hand
Dominican
model.
Bakery
Mm.
around the corner. Delicious.
Wow.
So because I had cream in the pasta, I nothing with cream. So that's just nice light fruity stuff. So growing up, Michael, what was your favorite, like as a kid, what was your favorite thing? You come home from school and you're like, couldn't wait to get to the what?
Baseball field.
Baseball field.
Me
How about-
too.
Okay, good. And what would you eat at the baseball field? Or on your way there, what was your snack after school?
Oranges. We pull oranges
See,
right off
Florida
right off
kids are
trees.
so healthy.
Or
It's
grapefruit.
really
I
funny,
should not
really
eat
Yeah,
I eat
yeah,
devil
because
dogs.
everybody had an orange tree in their yard,
Right?
and so you would walk down the road, like on the way to the baseball field, and just pick oranges, or you knew which like yard had the best oranges too, because some were sour, they didn't know what they were doing, but others had these big,
You know who just talked about this?
juicy
This is so
oranges.
interesting. This is the second time I've heard this week, and I've never heard that. Like, because I didn't grow up in Florida, so I don't think oranges.
Yeah, you
But-
walk down the street, people have limes and grapefruit
How
and
cool.
oranges just in their yard, and you
So,
pick one as you're
but,
walking
I
down
got
the
a
road.
mango tree.
Mango tree.
But
okay.
mangoes, no
No,
mangoes.
no
I'm
mango.
allergic.
I do love mangoes.
Me
But
too.
do you know the book
I
I'm
almost
reading
fell out
right
of a
now
tree.
is Joel Gray's autobiography. It's called Master of Ceremonies. It's so good
I
and
heard that was
interesting. Yes, it's actually really good.
And he used to pick oranges?
They grew up in New York. He grew up in, he moved to L.A. actually. He grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. And then his dad,
Orange?
who was a big musician in the Yiddish theater, he was like, wrote all these shows.
Right.
Moved the family out to California, and it was the first time. He said the most amazing thing was he opened his bedroom window and woke up his brother and said, "There's an orange right there," and he just picked it and ate it. And I thought that was such a cool story. And you're telling the same story,
Right.
so
Yeah, I mean, that's
It's a
just
warm
what you
climate.
did. Yeah, that's just what you
we
did.
in Boston did not. We didn't
Well,
eat
we
oranges
also-
after school.
You guys grew fish and chips
Well,
or something, didn't you?
We ate crabs. We would go to the anybody from Boston, back me up on this. We would go to Haymarket, which was in the North End, and they had these crab carts.
Mhm.
Carts
Oh,
with
yeah,
like
I've
just
been
crab,
there.
and you just bought a crab.
Right.
I thought everybody did that, but so you'd get a crab in paper, and then you'd go home and eat this crab, or we'd buy pomegranates in the fall and eat those. Those are like big things. Clam chowder, that was a big thing. Fish in Boston is big.
We had coconuts too.
Okay, see fruit.
See, well, coconuts though, but that was like a challenge though, because if you ever tried to open a coconut,
No, I haven't. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna try.
no, you have to have sharp
You
blunt
need like
objects.
drilling tools.
No. Hammer works. Actually,
I have
if
all
you
that
get
stuff.
good at it, a curb, like a street curb, will work.
A street curd, you just hit the coconut.
You have to hit it just
That's-
right, and it'll
Bang it in.
split,
Wow.
and then you just rip it apart. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
And then it has the milk in it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
that is good stuff. So, what was your go-to after school?
Pizza
Pizza.
or Twinkies.
Yeah.
God, that just sounds so horrible.
No.
No, I
What was
think
wrong with that? That's
when
what you like as a kid.
yeah, I came home
Yeah,
and
that's good.
my friends and I would get on our bikes and we would go to the corner and we would sit at and have pizza.
And what's your comfort food now?
Pizza.
Pizza still.
Still.
That's your thing, right?
Yeah, I think all food is my comfort food.
I
love
love
to
food.
eat. It's
I love-
ridiculous how
if
much
I'm
I love
having
to
a
eat.
really bad day, I want meatloaf and mashed potatoes
Oh,
and
that's
bread.
good.
That's
Yeah.
what I want.
bread. I just finished the Whole 30 Have you done the Whole30 diet?
No, I don't do diets.
30 days,
I
no
can't-
sugar, no dairy, no carbs, no anything. So you can't
Wow,
do.
really?
Yeah.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a miserable existence
It was-
to me.
but
I'm not into it.
What you
You
lost
feel
weight?
really good.
You
Well,
feel
yeah,
good
but
afterwards.
it's good for like
Do
a
you work
detox.
out too?
I haven't been to a gym in
You're
over a
in
year.
great shape.
I do Bikram yoga,
Oh, right.
not consistently.
Now, you know what you told me before, and I just want to, you said that your nationality is you are, tell us.
Me?
Yeah,
Romanian, well, half Romanian and half Czechoslovakian.
okay. And you were raised Jewish, right?
I was.
And now you are a Buddhist.
Yeah, I never talk about it. I don't post a lot
think it's
about it or
wonderful.
anything. But yeah, about, almost a year now, I started
And is that,
Nichiren Buddhism, and it's just something that really works for me. It's kind of changed my...
how cool.
I hate to sound all like
No,
hooey
that's
about
all right.
it, but
That's
it really
nice.
did.
It's nice.
It changed my life.
Why
Very
not?
cool.
And
Only because, I always had a hard time with religion. I always had a hard time,
Well, you know
with
what
things
they-
outside of myself, but with Buddhism, it's really just kind of like,
one of my
about yourself,
favorite sayings is religion is for people who are afraid to go to hell. Spirituality is for those of us who have already been there.
oh, that's very...
So I love
Wow, I
that.
love that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. I
So-
just could really get behind the idea that it was really just about strengthening your own inner self, and not
Yeah.
necessarily
And especially
wanting something
now.
like some entity outside of yourself to do things for you, or it's hard to explain.
No, it's not. It makes complete sense.
Because I believe in the universe and in energy and all that stuff.
People
but I-
always think that if this happens, or if that happens, or if I just had that, if I just made that amount of money, or if I just had get this show or that part, then my life's going to be better.
Yeah.
Those things will make you happy, of course, but
Sure.
you have to start with yourself. If
I
you
also
don't
think it's
like
whatever
yourself-
works for you, whether
Yes.
it's whatever religion it is, whatever faith you have. If you have any, maybe you don't have any. It's kind of a personal thing. It has nothing
Right.
to do with forcing anything. It's just what you respond to as your own person
Absolutely.
in some way.
And Michael, what nationality are you? I'm going to say Irish, right?
Yeah, I have some Irish in me. I'm a mutt, really.
Are you? What are some of
Yeah.
those mutt things? Tell us about it.
Some German, Irish.
Get any more, because I'm losing your face there. German, Irish.
German and Irish, and kind of whatever. All of those countries. English.
Yeah, I like it though.
I don't.
That's
I don't
cool.
know.
And so, what's
I'm a
your
Florida
comfort
boy,
food?
Florida,
If
Florida
you
cracker.
are like, oh, you know what, I'm having the worst day. I got it. But you're not really a guy that
Chocolate.
likes chocolate.
I like
Oh,
chocolate.
I
I
didn't
just
think about
yeah.
Yeah, chocolate. Well,
But
just
that's
like
every single
Yeah.
day though.
Like, so you could eat chocolate every day, like a chocolate shake.
No,
love
I
a chocolate
do
shake.
eat chocolate every
Oh, you
single
do?
day.
But you're a skinny guy.
Absolutely. No, I eat chocolate every single day.
Like, how does?
and no, like all kinds of. Susan makes the most amazing brownies
Susie's
and
a good cook.
cakes, chocolate cakes and brownies. But I got to tell you, she should start selling these strawberry brownies. She makes like
Strawberry brownies.
Oh, they're off the chain. But
you don't have strawberry brownies.
No, I should. Susie got to bring them next time. Strawberry brownies.
But that's it. You know what? I just eat. You know what? Somebody said something the other day. Susan's cousin said to me, "You're a guy who eats to survive." And at first I thought, well, what is that all about? I didn't really kind of dig that. But the more I think about it, that really is what I do. I don't really think about food or
when
like,
you did
I get
my
hungry
floor,
and I eat.
I kept trying to feed him. I was like, Michael, aren't you hungry? He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you want?
Yeah,
I'll
no,
get it
I
for you.
don't.
No, you didn't. You
But
could've
I'm
cared
not
less.
unhealthy. It's not like I'm like
No.
eating dinner or anything like that. I mean, I have energy. Believe me, I eat.
I'm always
when
planning
I'm
my
hungry,
next
I eat.
meal.
You do have energy. What time did you get up this morning?
4:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
you
a
go.
lot. And now you got to get up again, right?
Yeah, but that's all right. I can't. This is amazing. I love doing this.
All right. So we
And
want
I
to.
love you.
Oh, I love you too, Michael. So I want to send this shout out. I love you too. I love you both in completely different ways. All right. You're both pretty.
Thank
know
you. Share the mirror.
So I want to send a shout out to my friend Shanna Sharp, who was on the show.
I love Shane.
Yes, she's getting married this weekend. Shanna Sharp and Alec Chosich. They were both on the
Congratulations.
show,
Yay.
and they are getting married this weekend. And I wanted to shout them out in Alabama. So I'm hoping that Hurricane Maria is out there now, right?
No.
I'm here.
Hurricane Maria is here.
All right. So I'm right here.
She's like, all right.
So Shanna, congratulations, honey, and Alex. Congratulations. I love you guys. And when you come back, I'm putting this out. I want to throw a little party for Shanna and Alex. Okay, so we'll have it here, and I'll cook, and everybody will have to come out for that. And also, next week's guests are Trent Kendall. You heard me. I know.
My
Trent
favorite
Kendall.
singer in the planet.
Trent Kendall is an amazing singer, and also he wrote a show. And he wrote a great show that he wrote 2 shows, I think.
I saw one of them.
Yes.
The festival ones.
Yeah, and now he's doing a Louis Armstrong thing.
Oh.
It's really, so Trent is all over the place, and he's been in a ton of Broadway shows. So he'll be with us next week, Trent Kendall, and also Jacqueline Burke. She goes by Jack, J-A-K Burke, but she wrote a book, a children's book, and she also wrote, she's an illustrator as well, and a great visual artist. And she's funny. She's British. So you know how much I love the Brits. So next week is 2 big personalities. Tonight I had the gentleman show. Tonight was the, right?
I like the title of that.
Yes. Surrounded by
Sign me
Gentlemen. That's what I've called it tonight. These are both gentlemen. Next week, all hell's going to break loose with Trent Kendall and Jack Burke. So come and see us next week.
Can I say one?
Oh, you can say anything you
If
want.
anybody wants, I never said this, and I always forget to do this. If anybody wants to follow anything I'm doing, or my music or whatever, it's just my name, Scott Evan Davis. Every platform is my name.
Scott Evan
right?
Davis.
So my website, scottevandavis.com. Twitter, Scott Evan Davis. So is Instagram. So just follow me, and the next year is going to be kind of a wild ride. So.
But now, if people want to buy your CDs, how do they get those?
They're all on iTunes. My website.
Do you still have hard copies, though?
I do.
See, let me tell you something, because I'm a songwriter too, and I have CDs.
Uh-huh.
And
in a box next to my
yes,
couch.
well, I have them right over there, but they're shrinking. It's going down.
Right.
YouTube, iTunes is great.
Yeah.
But you don't always know what's coming in and what's. You don't. You can't.
No,
it's hard to keep track.
Listen, most of the sales for both, because you can buy my sheet music too. So most of the sales for sheet music or for iTunes music, downloads. But when I do concerts, it's really
CDs.
Great to have physical ones, because then people can buy them from you,
and you can sign them, and also you can see where it's going. Someone, the person that's actually buying it,
Right.
and I,
Listen,
I'm all about signing things.
It's true. People love it.
I love that. Are you kidding me? Anywhere I go, I'm like, just sign that. I love it. Not food so much,
don't
because
sign
I'm
your
going
food?
to eat that. Yeah,
Right, that makes
But,
sense. Yeah.
Something's happening. Someone's trying to get a hold of me. Okay, so that's how you can get a hold of of Scott Evan Davis. Michael Raymer, you're going to tell us again, Michael?
Just, either Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, Michael Raymer.
And go and look at those pictures. You're going to love
I'm
it.
going to.
Now, I also want to
yeah.
remind
Check it
our listeners that we are on just a TuneIn app, and then you type in Armed Radio, and then you're going to type in, you're going to listen to us live on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. You'll hear What's the Story with Maria live. If you miss it and you want to listen to us in podcast, it's Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. You can download that on your on your PC or Mac, or you could download it on your phone. That's what I do. I download it on my phone. I listen to it in the car. I listen to a bunch of podcasts.
You have a car?
I do have a car. I lease a car,
amazing.
yeah, because I'm out in Morristown.
I sold my car.
I teach in Morristown. I have to have a car.
Mm.
You try taking that train out every day. Forget about it.
Nope.
So
My car's a bicycle.
Nope.
I know you guys ride a lot of bikes. Sometimes I see you take pictures from the bike. I don't think that's safe, Michael. I've seen you take pictures of Susie's behind
on the bicycle.
on the bike.
In Times Square.
Do you take a bag?
No, in Times Square, she's this far away from a bus,
Listen,
flying past her. I got to take a picture of that. Come
I
on.
know. One time I was in Times Square on 47th and Broadway, right there in the middle of the thick of it, and going the opposite direction, just zigzagging,
Is
Susie.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, that's my friend. And there she was, going the opposite direction.
Live and right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got stories,
You
but
can't
we don't have
catch her,
enough
man.
time
You can't
for all
catch
her
Susie
bicycle
C.
stories.
Scary.
We don't. We
But you ride everywhere, right? You
Yeah,
guys
oh
ride,
yeah.
You ride
Well,
to
she
work?
taught me how to ride in the city.
Yeah, it's a whole
I can
different
ride
ballgame, right?
in the city of New York City now, like
That's it.
nobody's business.
Good
for you.
Be careful.
Whew.
Yeah.
I can't.
All right.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's exciting. It is.
And so,
like
and
a
you guys
rush.
runners too?
She runs.
She
I don't
runs,
run.
yeah.
The only time I run is when I'm being chased.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my joke. That's what I always say.
I've been saying that for
Curses.
years.
Yeah, I might run. I've run for the bus. You know when I ran, and my friend Bill Morgan was working with me at the time. He said, I never saw anybody run so fast. It's just people took off on a check where I was working, and I was like waitressing.
You went out the door.
You want to know something? I
the
literally
bar.
chased them 3 blocks, and I caught them.
Good for you.
And I was like, you know what, you little...
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pay for that. So you're paying for it. And they were like, oh, we didn't know. We didn't.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've chased people when they run out on checks. I always catch them. One time I chased a guy in the subway.
I would chase people for
Owed
money.
me money.
I
Oh,
would run
yeah,
for money.
forget that.
Yeah.
I'm not giving
Probably
up.
would.
People are like, aren't you afraid? I'm like, no, I'm not afraid. You owe me money. I'm going to come chase you. Don't even think about it. I'm serious.
That's
Right?
the temper you're talking about.
Oh, no, you haven't seen. This
Yeah,
week I
no,
went
no.
off on somebody, and it's nobody you know, but it felt great.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another thing. Okay, so any closing? We got about maybe a minute. Any closing things you want to say to our people out there?
If I'll just say, there's 2 charities that are very, very close to my heart. That if anybody wants to look into it, help in any way, volunteer some time or whatever. One is Citizens for Clean Water, which is based in Jensen Beach, Florida. They've been fighting for about 5 or 6 years now to get clean water through the Indian River Lagoon. And so anyway, Citizens for Clean Water would be one. And then Surfers for Autism. I didn't get to tell any of the stories, but I've worked with a lot of autistic kids with a charity called Surfers for Autism, and they're based in South Florida.
That's amazing.
And they teach young all ages of autistic kids how to surf.
That's so
And
cool.
yeah, it's an amazing spiritual experience to spend the day at the beach there. So
Wonderful.
So Surfers for Autism
Okay.
and Citizens for Clean Water. Check them out. They 2 very, very worthy and wonderful organizations.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to be going out soon, I think. And Scott, why don't you finish up and talk about your project?
So
We're going to wrap it up?
yeah, actually, well, I've already talked about the project,
Okay.
but I will say this one last thing,
All right, tell it.
just about the business. No matter what part of the business you're in or anything you do, what I have learned, because
Okay,
I'm
better wrap it up.
going to be 40 next week. I've learned that you can't really make plans for your life because things always change.
All right.
So don't get too set in stone
That's
with
it.
what
That's
you
what
think
you
you want
got.
to do. It'll
So
always
tonight
change.
was my gentleman show. I was surrounded by gentlemen, and I love them. We're going to eat now. We're going to eat and we thank Jimmy, our producer. We appreciate your
Jimmy.
help, Jimmy. And we'll see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's the story with Maria.